Lots of other people who you do, okay. And then I'll come to someone here, and then I'll go over there, and that's how I'll do it. So everyone, so if you could say what your question is or your comment, could you keep them very brief? You can see we've got a large crowd here and a lot of people who are very interested. And I know it would be terrific if everyone could have an opportunity to let the Minister know how they feel. I also want to say that other councillors have arrived, Councillor Mad, Councillor Sukas, and that's it. And also Alex Greenwich, the local member. Okay, so, blue t-shirt. Now, if you could just say your name and your street or where you're from or your interest, that's just helpful because we'll take notes and we can give this information to the Minister.
It's Will Brinker, I'm from Steele Street.
Steele Street, sorry, yes.
What was your point of coming here if there's no point in, say, Devonshire Street? I'm pretty sure everyone in this room is pretty much here just for Devonshire Street. No matter what you say, no one's going to side with you.
Okay.
Firstly, thank you for the question because I think it gets to the heart of why I am here, and that is to explain the context of why it was Devonshire Street we chose or why that is the route, but also to really invite you and everybody in this room to have a say on all those parts of the project where we can be flexible on and make a difference on.
Okay,
and can I also make this important point, Will, which I know is not a huge degree of comfort for people who live in Devonshire Street. But no matter which route we chose, it would cause disruption to people who lived in that street. It's true. And can I say that we looked at all the routes possible, and every route has its enormous challenges. But on balance, and that's a fact. That is a fact, and you can ask any transport expert or planner or anyone who has looked at the project from a sustainability point of view or an environmental point of view. No matter what we chose, it would have been extremely problematic and challenging for the community. But in terms of the viability of the project, the feasibility of the project, and impact on the community versus other routes, Devonshire Street is far and away the best route. But there are still a number of different options, you can have input on in relation to the stops, the environment, and even though some people may think that is little consolation, once we get into the project, it makes a huge difference. What does it mean for you personally about walking to a stop or not walking to a stop? What does it mean for your street, even if you don't live on Devonshire Street?
Okay, thanks for your turn. We're going to the middle now. Just near you, the mic near you, he's standing, yes.
Don Beresford, Arthur Street, Surrey Hills. Lord Mayor, I want to thank you for arranging this meeting, but I also want to point out that this meeting would not have occurred without Venietta, and got this going. And I thought there was an arrangement that Venietta would have an opportunity to speak, and I would ask that Venietta have this opportunity right now.
Thank you, Minister. Very brave of you to be here today, and I do the task. As I said to you before, I respect your very difficult role, and we also want to assist you to create the legacy that you'll hold your head high with. And I'm sorry I have to say that this is not the legacy. Thank you also, Lord Mayor, for creating this facility, and I understand everyone's angst for or against LightRail. And I must say, after seeing that presentation and the dictation of it, I'm sort of feeling a bit sick in the stomach, to be honest. But I kind of need to say thank you, Chris, for that presentation, but also not thanks. But anyway, there are a majority of people here from Surrey Hills, but there's also people from across Sydney. This isn't just about Surrey Hills. This impacts all of Sydney. We've got people here from Randwick, from Sydney, from Botany, from Waverley, from Wallara. I know we've got people from the north and from the west. This is a broader concern for all of Sydney in terms of transportation. Why is it important for you to be here today? The Minister, this is the first time you've met with the public on a grand scale, and I'm sorry, please don't offend us in the future to suggest this is a consultation, because it's not a consultation. We have one very important key element that we're in complete disagreement about. This is not LightRail. These are tram lines. LightRail is when trams operate primarily along an exclusive right-of-way, and this is not what we're talking about. Also, two trams should be joined when they operate. They should not be joined when they operate on streets because they take up too much space and no space is left. So this is essentially a tramway system. At an estimated $1.6 billion for 12 kilometres, or $133 million per kilometre, this is the most expensive light rail or tramway project in the world. Experience elsewhere, when we looked at Gold Coast, Edinburgh, Canberra, we know from experience that these projects blow out. So it's not going to be $1.6 billion, as the best intentions may be. And also the project timeline will blow out as well, because we have no control over what we discover underground. So we ask, is this in the interest of the greater of Sydney? Is this where our priority should be? But we are here to talk about LightRail or tramway system. So before we commit to 6 to 10 years of demolition and construction, it is fair for us to expect substantial research, substantial modelling that is made public. Already when I look at your document here today, there is conflict information. We already talked Transport for New South Wales about the lines that you've spoken about the loss of patronage. You're not comparing apples with apples. We support you, Minister, and Transport in creating a sustainable, bullet future-proof system for all of Sydney. And we are greatly concerned that this is not it. In fact, the opposite. We honestly believe it's going to actually create a city gridlock. This requires an independent feasibility study. If you have it, show us. Give us the confidence. I don't think one person, whether you came in here believing in LightRail or not, believing this route was appropriate or not, if you really feel confident that we're actually making decisions on detailed modelling of equal weight and substance. I think it's fair to say we're all confused as to why Devonshire Street's preferred route. The Minister said to me herself, this is the spine of the network. If it's the spine of the network, then take it to where populations are growing. They're growing at much greater rates than what they are here at Surrey Hills. There is no net benefit of Surrey Hills. We already have good transportation. We're basically being used for a corridor, for a mass transportation system. We will not sustain this. Businesses will be destroyed. Just look up the road at Paddington. That's our future.
For a period of time, I'm asking the Minister to listen and make a note of what she is being asked, or Chris Locke, and then we'll have a response at the end. I think that way we'll cover the most ground. So over here, that person standing up, if you can say who you are, yes.
I'm Harry Cole. I live in Burke Street, Surrey Hills, and looking around the crowd here, and everybody's very vocal about trams. People in my vintage, and a couple of us here, we all scream when the tram from Sydney disappeared in 1961. Everybody said the place was going to fall apart, and it did for a long, long time. Melbourne kept their trams. They got one of the best systems in the world. Heard Anita saying we don't want them here, or we do want them here. Now the other question I'm going to ask the Minister, is it going to be privatised like that other thing is where you can't use your special cards? It is going to be privatised, government control.
The Minister will answer at the end. The system. Yep.
Well, I'm for trams, and I think everybody over my age would be too.